Okay, so it has been very, very hot for a very, very long time. If you are like me or you live in England, you will know we've had like an awful heat wave. I think, like myself and a lot of other people have been saying, I'm starting to look forward to autumn. I'll be completely honest. I'm starting to look forward to things to really cool down. I feel like for a range of different reasons, like I personally feel so much more productive when it is cooler, and also I way prefer the fashion and the options that you have for the things that you can wear when the weather starts to cool down a little bit more. I feel like summer can just sometimes end up being like a vest and shorts and anything that you can survive in. And sometimes I don't always want to be wearing that. So that is exactly what I wanted to talk about today. I have a list of some trends that I have been noticing in smaller amounts that I do feel like across this season, and once it gets a bit cooler, we will be seeing more of. So let's get started because we've got a lot to go through. Okay, so the first trend I wanted to speak about on my list is frills. Anything that's been coming up on my Vinted that's got a lovely like frill trim around like a little v-neck, whether it might be like a button up and it goes all the way down, whether it might just be around the neck itself. They seem to be getting snatched up really quickly. I love seeing them in a kind of like sheer fabric. I see them a lot in either a basic black or a basic cream. I think we all love and appreciate chic fashion and how simple it is to implement into your wardrobe, but at the same time, how effective it can be at bringing across a certain vibe. But at the same time, I feel like chic fashion, I do like to avoid it becoming a bit too samey and a little bit too basic or just simple shapes. I feel like elements like this is just a really nice way to keep things chic but also make it quite playful and a little bit more captivating to the eye, I suppose, a little bit more standouty and not just like copy and paste. One area that I didn't expect to see frills migrating to was shoes. I don't know, I just didn't really expect it. Look how gorgeous these are. These are in the post, not gonna lie. I've actually seen multiple pairs of exactly this shoe on my Vinted, just in a few different sizes. So if you like the look of it, it's always worth checking it out. But I would personally love to see more of this. Like if any of the high streets were to do their own sort of versions and different styles of heels, maybe some kitten heels with like a little frill at the front. I think that would be like so much fun. I think they look so cute. So we will have to see because this is definitely like the only version of this kind of thing that I have seen recently. But I'm all here for it and I really hope that it develops into something. Another item of clothing where you might see frills standing out is like a sort of like skinny long scarf where the whole thing is basically just a frill. I think that's so cute. I've not really seen so much of this that much, but like I feel like if we're seeing it in tops, seeing frills in tops, then you often tend to see it start to translate into more items of clothing. So I can kind of see that happening and I'll try and find some examples. Super cute, super playful, love it. So the second trend on my list is pointed toe heels, pointed toe shoes, pointed toe boots. I think we see this come round probably almost every year, I'll be honest. But I've been seeing it a lot. And I just feel like you cannot go wrong. This is definitely a staple. It's definitely a classic. I think obviously kitten heels have been such a major like annual trend recently. I think they're so cute, so chic, and just a lot easier to walk in with it being a lower heel. So seeing like sling back kitten heels with a pointed toe, oh my god, like the combination is just gorgeous. But you also get a pointed toe in boots as well, heeled boots. So nice again. Whether it might be more of like a knee-high boot, I can definitely see that coming back around again for autumn. Obviously, summer heels are very much more like sandal kitten heels, open toe, you're getting your toes done, all of that. And then as soon as the weather starts to cool down, it's just a little bit more appropriate to have a bit more coverage over your toes. You know what I mean? I think whenever autumn comes around or whenever things start to cool down, people do like to look at a kind of like city girl sort of vibe, city girl trend. And I think city girl fashion and pointed toe heels like are basically sisters, like they're inseparable. My only like two pence that I would put in about pointed toe heels is that they do have a bit of like an office core vibe. They can be quite dramatic and quite serious sort of looking. I love seeing pointed toe heels come up in a kind of more like playful, slightly vibrant or eye-catching colour, rather than kind of like a deep red or a black or a navy, that kind of like adds to the sort of like serious office core look of a pointed toe heel, which is cute, do love it, but I do actually really like it when it is in a slightly brighter or earthier colour to kind of make things feel a little bit more fun and funky rather than serious and officey. That would be like the only two pence that I would put in about this style of heels, and that is definitely what I keep my eye out for. I have seen a pair recently that I do really want to order at some point, in like a lovely like marigold yellowy orange mustard sort of colour, and I do feel like that colour as well is very fitting for autumn. I keep knocking my plant as well, sorry. To a chic outfit which might like not have too much colour, but then like a pop of colour at your heels or your bag, I think just makes it seem a bit more fun. Yeah, I just love this trend of shoe. It's so nice, it's so sophisticated, you can't go wrong. So the third item on my list is short sleeve, high neck button up shirts. I have not probably worn tops like this since I was about 7 or 8 years old, but that is what I love about some of these trends that I've been seeing in the last year, is that things do seem to be coming like a lot more like playful, and I think also like just playing around with the idea of like girliness and youthfulness, but the fact that it is like a button up shirt still means that it's the kind of thing that you could literally wear to the office, to work, or to something that's like a bit more of like a smart event, but without having to sacrifice feeling girly and feeling like you want to look cute, you know, rather than just looking like plain and serious. I don't know. That's kind of the way that I look at these shirts. I do really like it. I've seen them in so many different colours, seen them in a lot of white, I would say, and I think also the short sleeves being like put like poofed out a little bit and then kind of like cut in here. Again, that's very youthful, the kind of tops that I used to wear when I was much younger. And I do think that's really lovely. I'm definitely here for this trend, but I haven't like worn a top like that for a while, so I'm not too sure if it is very me. I'll have to find that out. I mean, the thing is that I don't want to end up sounding like a broken record in this video, but I honestly feel like you can pair anything with capri leggings, and I think this is one of those things. I think this would look so cute. It's not overstated, it's not super standouty, but it does create this really sweet, simple illusion, and I do feel like the shirt is like the main character in doing that. So a shirt like this and this kind of trend is great for like the easiness of just throwing it on and it creating something really nice. So the fourth trend on my list is something that we scratched on in the previous one, is anything capri, but I have honestly been loving the tailored capri trousers. Obviously capri trousers, capri leggings have been everywhere for probably over a year now, I think, like probably from last year as well. But I think as we go into autumn and as things start to cool down, being able to wear like heavier, more tailored fabrics is something that we will be looking for. I tried on a pair of really lovely, very wide leg tailored capri trousers in Uniqlo, which I would actually quite like to get my hands on. I did really like the way that they looked. I think these trousers are perfect for work and also maybe like a sophisticated dinner out anywhere. I think with these trousers being so simple but quite unique at the same time, I think this is the kind of element where like I was saying earlier, with like colourful pointed toe heels, it would pair together so nicely, because you've got a piece that is very simple but stands out, and then something that is also that as well. It's also very simple, stands out, maybe a little bit more unique, and just ties together something really, really fun, but still very classy and chic. And on that note of like anything trousers, bottoms, leggings, jeans, I have not really been seeing like jeans denim jeans. I've not really been seeing any denim jeans that I've been liking, probably for quite a few years now. Maybe apart from like quite wide leg, off-white jeans look pretty cool. But anything other than that, or maybe in like a very like dark blue. Maybe it's just a personal thing, but I've just really not been seeing it as much. I've been seeing a lot of people turn to quite like long or midi length skirts, or capri leggings or pleated trousers. I've been seeing a lot more of that in the fashion trends, and I don't really know how to feel about it. I'm just curious about like what kind of jeans people might be into. It's just not really been something that's been on my radar or on my feed. So, yeah, I might do a little bit more research into any kind of jean styles that are still around, but I don't know. They're just not, they're not always the comfiest item of clothing. Yeah, I'm gonna look into it. So, trend number 5 on my list is an accessory. I've seen a few pictures come up on my Pinterest and a few items come up on my Vinted, not to sound like a broken record, but of really lovely, like statement bangles, that don't tend to just be like a simple gold or a simple silver. The ones that I've been seeing up have had like mother of pearl on them, or ones where the silver has been kind of like molded and warped into something a little bit different. I think they look really cool. I've not got my hands on anything in particular just yet, but this photo in particular really caught my eye. I think layered on top of like a long sleeve shirt, just looks really cool. I don't know, I can't really explain it. It's very, very tiny detail, but I think it's cute because I suppose we see like bangles more in summertime as just like a easy accessory to throw on, but during the winter as well over a long top, like you can definitely still wear this kind of thing. Quite like it when they're very chunky. I don't tend to wear bracelets, but this is a trend that I am gonna like try out and keep my eye out for something cute. I feel like in particular on top of a basic white top, anything that's kind of like paler, and white, I feel like it would look better on top of something like that rather than something a bit darker, because it would stand out a little bit more and just add something a little bit more fun to something like a simple white shirt. The sixth trend on my list is like checkered or tartan patterns or fabrics. So any kind of like checkered weave fabric. I can't 100% remember like the specific name for it, but just a very simple, like quite chunky, thick weave that you might see in a lot of the like old traditional Chanel blazers or heels. And I've actually seen a couple like kitten heels with that fabric on the toe part, on the body of the heel. I think that chunkier, thicker weave fabric is going to be quite durable as long as you look after it. And I think while the weather is cooling down, a fabric like that works quite well. So seeing it in any like mini skirts, and then definitely on like little heels, I just think looks so lovely. Definitely that classic original Chanel sort of look. Really looks very nice. We might be seeing a little bit of that this winter. But I definitely think since like the impact of Pink Pantheress, and her sort of style and vibe, so cute, is so original to her. I can really see like mini shorts. I can see that being so cute. Again, that's exactly the kind of thing that I used to wear when I was much younger, like literally between the ages of like 8 and 11. I think that's why like my inner child is like, oh my god, I'm so happy to see these things, but in a more like grown up and elevated way, so that we don't look crazy wearing them in the street. So a pair of checkered mini shorts. I've always seen them in obviously like simple mini skirts, but in previous years I've seen them in pleated skirts, and personally that's just not so much my vibe. I just think a simple pair of like proper like hot pants layered over like some like black tights or something like that would look so cool. And speaking of tights, I think this photo has been around for a little while of Lily Rose Depp wearing these like lovely tartan, or I can't specifically remember the word of like the, with it being the little diamonds, but these tights look so cool. So them also in a pattern tight, like so fun. Also, even in things like handbags or hair clips, is such an easy way to implement it if you're not so much of a fan of doing like a full on like outfit in that pattern. Trend number 7 on my list is pea coats. I would actually probably go more towards saying pea jackets, or like the pea coat style, but in like a lighter weight jacket, with it being autumn and us having like a super hot summer this year, which does not feel like it's leaving. I feel like it will probably still be jacket weather, like just like a little cover up just to keep the cool out a little bit, rather than like a whole like heavy wool pea coat that we might see much later on in the year. I think with a pea coat style jacket, it's again got these features of like the short puffy sleeves, some of them, or the kind of like cropped but belled out like baby doll sort of shape to it, and then at the high neck I feel like it's again this pattern of the kind of styles that we might have worn when we were a little bit younger, but because they're now in these lovely like tailored materials, and then also like lovely like warm teddy brown colours, or almost like a khaki slash brown. I've seen a lot of them in those kind of colours, and it's much more sophisticated, really really lovely, and also I feel like very practical as well. I feel like this is a very practical coat. I have even seen some like woolen cardigans in a similar sort of style to this, like maybe like a bit of a high neck and then the short sleeve and the kind of like flaring out like a little baby doll top. I've seen some of those as well, in this year and previous years. But I don't know, I feel like the actual jackets themselves are so lovely and really really nice to pair together with a lot of things on this list. Again, it's a very easy way to elevate your outfit with like literally just one item, rather than have it feeling like you have to layer something complicated together. It's chic, it's simple, and it's easy to just put on, and also layering together with a really nice simple scarf or like the frilly scarf. I think that would look really nice together. Number 8 on my list, I think it's still 8, can't quite remember, is like very long vibrant socks. I've been seeing that come up a little bit on my Pinterest. I've definitely seen it in like the turquoise, like the very very neon rich turquoise. I think it's very cool. I don't think it's very wearable, that's the only thing that I would say, but I do quite like the fact that it stands out, and the long socks paired together with like a sort of like knitted or wool like dress, you know, like the dresses with the long sleeves. I feel like that combination is really really cute. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like bright turquoise socks, it can again be like that tartan or checkered pattern in some long like knee or thigh high socks with a pair of pointed toe heels, like you can see the vision. Or maybe even in like polka dot or ribbing, or something slightly sheer that is like colourful but sheer, so it's not quite like in your face. The only thing that I would say about this trend that I've been seeing come up on my feed is that I do feel like this colour is a little bit more of a summertime colour and a little bit harder to wear out like day to day, unless it was just sort of like a cute little top or bag. But in like the long socks, probably not quite as easy to wear for everyday people like me and you. So yeah, I feel like this trend, but with a slightly different pattern, that's easier to wear, is really really cute, and again very like city girl vibes. I feel like that fits in with this aesthetic very much. Trend number 9 on my list is definitely like slouchy bags. So whether it's like a slouchy like hobo bucket bag, I actually have one hanging up right there. I think I've seen a lot of those, they look really nice. Mine's in like a fuchsia pink. I've seen some in like a navy blue or a sage green or a dark brown, anything like that. Definitely very practical and like a different version of like just a tote or a shopper bag. And then another version of like the slouchy bags that I've quite been seeing a lot of and really enjoying is just sort of like your standard sort of size and shape. This kind of like early 2000s slouchy handbag. I love it in this off-white. I've been able to pair this handbag with so many, pretty much every single outfit I've been wearing. Like it's the main bag that I've been reaching for. I've also seen a lady have a bag in that style but in like a forest green, that's like leather or faux leather, and I just think those look really cool. My take on it would be like with a sort of more like tailored chic outfit, having a bag that isn't so like structured and like rigid, something that's like a bit like softer and more slouchy, I think like just breaks the tailored look up a little bit, but in a nice way, and something that's just sort of a bit more casual, maybe a bit more like disheveled looking. But I do really like it. I think it looks very cute. Thank you so much for watching. It was really fun to just like analyze some trends that we might be seeing more of later on in the year as we approach the end of summer. So if you enjoyed this video or any content like this, then I will be trying to get some more things out in the near future. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Bye.